Welcome everyone to my attempt at a commentated video. So this is a Touhou for GameCube concept. This is a Reddit post that I made about a year ago. And I wanted to just put it into video format, explain some of my thought process when making the images associated with it. I do have this whole comment, this multiple paragraph comment in the and on the post explaining what it would be. So basically just a compilation of Touhou games. You can read it if you want. Basically a compilation of a collection of Touhou games, including Embodiment of Scarlet Devil, Perfect Cherry Blossom, Imperishable Night, Phantasmagoria of Flower View, and Immaterial and Missing Power. And I thought it would just make the most sense to put it into a collection, like Sonic Mega Collection or whatever. Because these games are extremely short, and no one would want to get one of these for $50 new. And I figured that there should also be bonus content like Sonic Mega Collection, but in the form of a checklist, kind of like Kirby Air Ride or Brawl, where you just unlock new features by completing challenges, like capture this many spell cards or whatever. And each game would have its own checklist, and you get rewards and stuff. Like I said, like you can see right here, I said you can maybe unlock an 8-bit soundtrack. I didn't really think much of rewards, but just that's the concept. And I also have controls and all that. And then these are the credits, which um main image you'll see for some of the images I made. So let's scroll up here. So here you can see the Nintendo Power pamphlet. But first, let me start off with the box art. First off, the main image I got a credit immediately goes to this person right here. I think that's when I translated to English, it said Jin. So making the box art took a while because not even the editing, it was just mostly what I wanted to use for the box art. Looking at official Touhou box art, like this is Embodiment of Scarlet Devil, Perfect Cherry Blossom, pretty much all of them fit the same template or um I don't know if you call it template, but they fit the same design of taking one of the main characters, one of the main villains, and then giving like a silhouette of different colors. And it doesn't look bad at all. I'm not saying it looks bad, but I knew that if Touhou got localized over here in the West, that kind of box art wouldn't fly for for capturing people's attention, like wanting to actually try out the game. I knew it had to be more action focused. Like you kind of probably heard the trope, American Kirby is hardcore, where they basically take Japanese franchise and market it to make it seem more cool or hardcore action focused. And I knew I couldn't draw it myself. I'm not a good drawer at all, or I'm not a good artist at all. So I knew I was gonna have to find a bit of fan art and there's a ton of great Touhou fan art out there, but finding the right one was really hard because I didn't want it to be like a group photo of a bunch of the Touhou characters or anything because, and no offense here to any fans of Touhou because I'm a fan of Touhou, but I knew if it was just like a bunch of girls posing for a group photo, it wouldn't unfortunately a lot of people would come to associate that like, oh, it's a girly game. The whole stigma around that is I'm really wanting to make this like how they actually would try to make it, how they actually would try to market it for the West. So I try to lean into the action focused part of Touhou, just showing off just the craziness with the bullets you're dodging. So I found this image. Now, this is a really good image. The only problem was that you can tell that this is Utsuho. I think that's how you say her name. Is her bullets, which obviously wouldn't be in the compilation. She wouldn't even exist back in 2005, 6. But I just thought this is just the perfect image. I didn't know what else would fit. So I just kind of used it and covered up the sign, the radioactive sign or the nuclear sign. So hopefully you can't tell as much that it's Utsuho's bullets. And then I had to make a logo for the game because, again, looking at official Touhou logos, they're just pretty much all in Japanese. So I first I had to come up with the name of the collection. So Touhou Project Bullet Hell Collection, and I knew I didn't want to just type out the name. I had to come up with a stylistic logo. So it wasn't much. I just came up with a yin yang orb, or I used a yin yang orb as the background. Could look better, honestly. I'm not the best with this, but I think it looks fine enough. I used red and white to represent Reimu's colors, and then black and white to represent Marissa's colors in the title logo. So that's that. I didn't create the back of the box because I didn't know what to do for that. So this was like the Nintendo Power pamphlet. Um, anyone who's ever had a physical GameCube game probably has seen this, at least from the first party ones. And I think Sonic Adventure 2 also had one, so that's why I wanted to make one for the Touhou project game. Nothing too special, just a picture of Chirno. I used this as a reference to how the Embodiment of Scarlet Devil's official disc has that picture of Chirno on there, and then just the usual subscribe to Nintendo Power text. And then we can move on to the disc. This was really hard again to know what I want to do for disc. For a GameCube disc, they have this kind of two-tone color, or would it be monotone? I don't know. They have this unique color scheme, and I just had to apply that. I had to make make sure it looked nice. I had to use multiple disc templates, multiple GameCube disc templates. Oh yeah, by the way, you might realize the ESRB, E10. Some people might ask why E10, and honestly, the reason why I chose it is because the difficulty of these games. And I know ESRB doesn't rate games based on difficulty, but I guess this was more so my own rating, and it's not like a hard coded you must be this age to play it. It was more of just like a recommendation. Kids generally have less patience, so I thought like E10, that's a good rating. At least you don't have to be 10 to play it, just a recommendation. And I used the two portraits, one of Reimu, one of Marissa. At this point, so Reimu's was Embodiment of Scarlet Devil, and Marissa, I was going to use for Embodiment of Scarlet Devil. At this point, I figured I used so many stuff for Embodiment of Scarlet Devil. I was just like, let me try a different. It is not just Embodiment of Scarlet Devil, so I used Marissa's portrait from Imperishable Night and edited out her broom. And the background is one of the stages from Immaterial and Missing Power. And then we have the game being loaded onto the GameCube menu. I used an altered logo, which I thought was fine because Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, for example, has a slightly different logo when being loaded onto the game. And I use Marissa on here as a reference to how she's always the EXE icon for the games when you have them on computer. And then finally, or no, two more images. It's just the gameplay screen, or not the gameplay screen, but like when you're about to get into the game. So I had to create that little blurb they have right here. Find your way through a storm of bullets and 5 action-packed games. I would say that's a pretty good, like that's pretty accurate to what they would put there, if I do say so myself. And then just the makers, Team Shanghai Alice and Twilight Frontier for Immaterial and Missing Power. And finally, the memory card screen. Just shortened the name of the Touhou project because obviously you're not gonna be able to fit the whole thing on there. And I wanted to make a GIF of a spinning yin yang as the icon, but I couldn't get it to work. Like with how the cube moves, it was just too hard, so I just made a static image. But that's pretty much it on this project. If anyone wants to add to it, like with their own custom images, I think that'd be really cool. Thanks for watching, all that stuff.